Alright, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And Shalom to Akim, teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. This is the Baba Caleb, once again coming back at you with another lesson, hopefully to edify the Lord's elect. As always, I like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other nations, because Israel as a people has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, and you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I'm just going to go into a chapter that I was just reading and meditating on here. This is Sirach, the 28th chapter. And I want to go into this because there are many facets to this truth. And as Apostle Gabal always says, a lot of guys who come into this thing, they don't understand this thing. They don't understand what it's really about. They've got a warped sense of what types of things Yahweh Shai finds pleasing and the things that Yahweh Shai doesn't find pleasing. If you're grounded and rooted in this truth, you shouldn't be having any confusion as to what Yahweh loves and what Yahweh hates, and what Yahweh Shai loves and what Yahweh Shai hates. It shouldn't be it's not something that's really hard to find out or hard to discern if you're really dealing with the whole book. You know, the scriptures say eat the whole roll, you know, because there's a lot more to this than just going out and shouting at the top of your voice to curse out Esau. Yeah, that's part of the truth. We have to go on highways and byways. And also it's more than just doing videos. Yeah, we have to push the word. That's part of the truth. But there are many smaller facets of this truth, particularly in terms of concerning conduct, and particularly in terms of conduct towards other men in the truth and in the faith. Because at the end of the day, you don't know who you're dealing with, man. None of us know who we are in the spirit. All we know is that we've been called to do this work. So therefore, there's no way in hell you can be looking down on another man that Yahweh Shai might have called or chosen. You know what I'm saying? Because that could be Ezra's, that could be Nehemiah, that could be Jonah. You know, you just don't know who you're dealing with, man. So you've got to be very careful about how you deal with men of the Lord, because at the end of the day, if we are indeed the men of the Lord, we are the mouthpiece of the Lord. And what you got to remember is that Yahweh is not going to get off his phone and come down and talk to you personally. He's going to come and speak to you through the men that he's set up. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh deals with all things decently and in order. And if you can't get in order, Yahweh Shai ain't got no time for your ass, man. Because this is the thing. The Lord don't need you. You need the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The Lord don't need you. You need the Lord. So none of us are in any position to be boast or be getting high-minded or to be looking down on other people. You know, I'm speaking to other, I'm speaking generally, but I'm also speaking to myself. You know what I'm saying? Because when we put up these epistles, when you teach others, you're also teaching yourself. If that makes any sense, it should make sense, because we're supposed to examine ourselves to whether or not we be in the faith. And there's another precept which just springs to mind. Bear with me while I get this one before I go into Sirach 28. I just set this up. There we go. That's exactly what I want. So that's lined up. So let me get into this. Sirach 28. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord Yahweh Shai, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance. Okay? Forgive thy neighbour of the hurt he hath done unto thee, and so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. Because if you're holding on to hate and hurt, that's only fucking you up, man. If you think that by holding on to bitterness and enmity towards another man in the truth is doing you good and doing the other man hurt, then you're only deceiving yourself and you don't really know what this truth's about. You ain't got no fucking understanding, man. The scripture describes such a person as a fool. So it says, forgive thy neighbour the hurt he hath done unto thee, and so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. He showeth no mercy. So jump down one. One man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord Yahushai? Let me read that again. One man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord Yahushai? He showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself, and doth he ask forgiveness of his own sins? If he that is but flesh nourish hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? Let me read that again. If he that is but flesh nourish hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? Now, what does it mean to nourish hatred? Got to think about it, right? What does a mother do to her young baby? She nourishes the child through the breast milk, right? So that means she feeds the child to nourish the child. If you're nourishing hatred, you're basically feeding into it, and that's basically leading you down a dark path, man. It's leading you down a dark path, as I said. But the scriptures say the wicked grope in noonday as in darkness, and they know not what they stumble over. Roughly paraphrasing. So again, do you really understand what you're involved in? It says, remember thy end, and let enmity cease. Remember corruption and death, and abide in the commandments. Remember the commandments, and bear no malice to thy neighbour. So you're not supposed to bear malice to your neighbour in this truth, which is just supposed to be a brother in this truth. It says, remember the commandments, and bear no malice to thy neighbour. Remember the covenant of the highest, and wink at ignorance. So sometimes you can't come down like a ton of bricks over something that's a minor offence. You got to have balance in this thing, and balance comes from temperance, and balance comes from experience, both in the truth and out the truth. How can you apply the situations and things? Because basically everything in life is a lesson. Every man comes into this truth at a certain time, the time ordained by the Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But don't think that the person's journey to the truth hasn't been a trial of sorts. Because every man comes into this thing at different times, different points. But every day you wake up, you're being tested by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that started right from the point where we came out of our mother's wombs. And the angels have been recording all of our trials and tribulations, and which tests we have overcome and which tests we've fallen short of. It's all recorded in the heavens, man. And the question is, what have you learnt? You know, what have you learnt, and how can you apply what you have learnt in a positive manner? Or are you the same carnal, worldly person that you were trying to come into the truth? You can't be that. You've got to be born again. And if you're going to be born again, you've got to be humble and realize, look, man, I've got to start at the bottom. You know, there's nothing. You can't be coming to this high-minded thinking, oh, well, I'm going to covet another man's position, or I should be this, or I should be that. No, it's not your program, man. It's not your program. We didn't choose Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai chose us. You know what I'm saying? So it's not our operation. It's not our it's not like we're running our own little thing here. We're doing the work and the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and we have to respect it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to walk up in some next man's house and start trying to rearrange the furniture. You don't fucking live there, man. It ain't your place to be doing that. You need to respect the setup you're coming into. Long story short. So it says, verse 8, Sirach 28:8, abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins. For a furious man will kindle strife. A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. Now what does Yahweh hate? Those that sow discord amongst brethren. So if you're an individual who's going around trying to sow discord amongst brethren, do you think Yahweh is pleased with that? And if Yahweh isn't pleased with that, do you think Yahweh Shai is going to be pleased with that? The answer is no. The question is, do you really know the Lord? If you knew these scriptures and these precepts, you'd know these things, and you'd be able to conduct yourself in a wise manner rather than a foolish manner. So it says, verse 10, as the matter of the fire is, so it burneth, and as a man's strength is, so is his wrath. And according to his riches, his anger riseth, and the stronger they are which contend, the more they will be inflamed. A hasty contention kindleth a fire, and a hasty fighting sheddeth blood. So we're not supposed to be hasty, man. We're supposed to be men of discernment, men of wise judgment. And a wise judge will be able to see aforetime before doing something silly and partaking in folly that might end up leading him down a path which ultimately will lead to him regretting the decisions he's made out of rashness and hastiness and folly. If thou blow a spark, it shall burn. If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of thy mouth. Curse the whisperer and the double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. So we're supposed to curse the whisperer and the double-tongued, because Yahweh hates that shit, man. Let me read that again. Sirach 28:13. Curse the whisperer and the double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. A backbiting tongue hath disquieted many, and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities have it pulled down, and overthrown the houses of great men. A backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women, and deprived them of their labours. So a backbiting tongue can deprive you of your labours. All the works you might be glorifying yourself in having done are all undone by having a backbiting tongue. You gotta understand these things, man. If you're a man in the Lord, this ain't hard, man. This is like flipping a simple maths, man. 2 + 2, man. 1 + 3. Simple maths, man. This isn't trigonometry. This isn't advanced mechanics. This isn't quantum physics. Simple facts, man. Simple precepts, man. So it says, verse 16, whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest, and never dwell quietly. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. Let me read that again, because it's a powerful precept. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. Well is he that is defended through the venom thereof, who hath not drawn the yoke thereof, nor have been bound with her bands. For the yoke thereof is as the yoke of iron, and the bands thereof are as bands of brass. The death thereof is an evil death, the grave were better than it. It shall not have rule over them that fear the Most High, neither shall they be burned with the flame thereof. So those that fear the Most High, they're not going to be destroyed by their own tongue. Whereas those who don't truly fear the Most High are going to get destroyed by their own tongue. Once again, simple maths if you understand these scriptures, man. Such as forsake the Lord Yahweh shall fall into it, and shall be burnt. Let me read that again. Such as forsake the Lord Yahweh Such as forsake the Lord Yahweh shall fall into it, and it shall burn in them, and not be quenched, and it shall be sent upon them as a lion, and devour them as a leopard. Look at thou hedge thy possession about with thorns, and bind up thy silver with gold. And here we go, this is the point. And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and a bar for thy mouth. Beware thou slide not by it, lest thou fall before him that lieth in wait. So it's a powerful chapter, man. And these are some of the chapters that one really needs to be meditating on day by day. You know, it's all good and well to be, we've got to prophesy against Esau. Is going down. We've got to prophesy against the nations. We've got to preach the word so that the elect can hear it. But we've also got to be reflecting upon ourselves and building our own character. And the way to do that is by getting into books such as this, Sirach 28, whole chapter. Real good stuff. Lord willing, that's edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to you, Akim, teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. And until the next lesson, Lord willing, as always, I say Shalom, wa ababa, wa kam yashwala. Shalom for now.